again, everyone. I'm kind of struggling how to best profile this while we talk at the beginning for the intro. So this is yet another snippet roll, paper snippet roll that I made. So this is the third one that I've made, and I wanted to show you this one as sort of an evolution from the other ones that I've made. This one is using some of my own handmade papers in the background, and then using the Tim Holtz ephemera on the top. And I really kind of like that combo, and I'll show you the whole roll here in a minute. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, I'm going to put a link down below to my prior two paper snippet roll videos where I profiled my paper snippet rolls. These have been so useful to have to use to just cut off a little piece and use as a focal point. The two that I've already shown on the channel that I have the links to the videos about, I've already used them completely up in different collages and different purposes. In the second video, you'll see that I did show you how I use some of the pieces from the first roll. So I would refer you to that as far as, if you wanted to make something similar, what would you do with it? That would explain that. But this one is just going to be going through the roll. I'll tell you very briefly how I put this together. So basically, I tore off strips of a certain width of a bunch of different papers. I tried to keep it the width of this little vintage wooden spool that I have here. It's not really holding it, but it holds it well enough. So I tore off pieces of paper in strips in that size. Then I glued the pieces of paper together at the ends, you'll see that. And then I reinforced the glued areas with stitching. And then I went through sort of methodically with a few different rounds of ephemera. I went from biggest to smallest, and then I did the words last. So yeah, so that's how I kind of like to make these, because it is kind of peaceful. It's very soothing to me, very relaxing to me to make these, because you don't have to think too much. You're basically just figuring out, where do I put this piece? Where do I put this piece? And then when I do them one step at a time with largest to smallest pieces on top of the paper, it makes it very manageable for me. Because this is not that huge, these, what I consider large pieces aren't actually that large, but I do have some really tiny pieces of ephemera, so so I did go from, somewhat large to tiny. So let's go ahead and go through here. So I'm just gonna go through, and let me zoom in a little bit so you can see these better. There we go. And I did put these little word quotes here. These are also from Tim Holtz ephemera line. And I'll just read this as I go through, and I won't really explain too much because I kind of explained already the process. So this is an open heart. Few words pass between them. Listen to the laughter. Try not to get any glare on there. They gave no more thought. Just a memory. The beauty of the day. They were perfectly happy. Oh, and I did want to say, there are some rub-ons on here as well. I did that in one of the last layers. They were perfectly happy to take the path that winds on summer evenings. In the evening silence, dreams come true. She wondered if she was dreaming. Every little dream, a record to leave behind. The love within my heart. Soaring like a star. Sweet forget-me-nots. When we are old and gray. Over a cup of tea, a happy place to be. The beauty of this life, wonderfully familiar. A glimpse of heaven. From sunrise till the shadows grew. So in some ways, and some of these word things came a little loose, so I may have to re-glue them, and that would become evident after rolling it up. But, so it's kind of like a found poem. I think the longer it is, a little bit harder it is to come up with something that actually means something. But I will just go ahead and show this to you as I roll it up again, so you can see it from back to front. But yeah, like I said, this is not just an exercise. These pieces are pieces that I use all the time, which is kind of fun. I do like to make things that are practical that I will use. So I'm just showing the snippet roll this time, so it'll be a rather short video, assuming I can get this not to stick to the things on the floor. There it is. But you could do this kind of thing. Yeah, and I have some die cuts, some paper, all kinds of things. You could do any kind of paper on these that you like. You could also just make it completely abstract and only do layers of paper. I've seen some people do that. But yeah, for me, it's just a really relaxing exercise. And then I have beautiful little compositions to use. Like, for example, with this one, I could, you know, cut that off and then cut that off and use that whole area. Or I could use this area here, this area here, this area here, or just this area. So you also have a lot of choice when you cut it up as to, sorry, let me move my hand. You also have a lot of choice when you cut it up as to which pieces you'll use and how you'll frame the composition. Because, you know, you could just do this piece, or that piece, or that piece, or that piece, you know, or you could go over here and then do that, or just do that. So there's a lot of options, and you can always add focal points if once you cut it up you feel like you don't have something that's interesting enough to be a focal point. But yeah, it's just a really fun exercise. And if you're interested, I could try making one on my channel. I would probably have to break it up into different videos because it does take a little while for me to finish one of these. But, you know, I could try maybe not the whole process or just parts of the process if you're interested. So just let me know in the comments below. All right, well, that's all I had for you today. Feel free to subscribe to keep track of future videos on my channel. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like. I hope to see you next time, but in the meantime, have a great day. Thanks so much. Bye.